So this is the last part in my DIYs for my daughter's birthday. I hope you guys have enjoyed the other two. If you haven't checked them out yet, please check out my Sleeping Beauty Maleficent birthday cake that I made my daughter, as well as a really cute Sleeping Beauty inspired wreath. Today's tutorial, I love. I'm not gonna lie. I think that it turned out really cute, and it wasn't that difficult. It is a little bit time consuming, if I'm being honest with you guys. So today's tutorial is going to be showing you how to make this really adorable Sleeping Beauty inspired book. What I was really excited about with this tutorial is because I didn't just want to make the book just to display it, but I wanted it to be more functional. So I thought of a really cool idea of putting cork on the inside. And what I love about this so much is that I used mine to display a photo, which I'll show you. But you can use this for pin display, and I think that this is such a cute idea if you're a Sleeping Beauty pin collector, to like keep a bunch of really cool Sleeping Beauty pins inside. You could also do this for things other than Sleeping Beauty, and not even just the original 3 princesses. Like if you really wanted to, you could design a beautiful book with like Rapunzel and put like the sun on it and just make it really gorgeous and put Rapunzel pins inside. I don't know. I think that this is such a cute way to display items. I hope you guys like this tutorial, and let's go ahead and jump into it. So first things first, you are going to need a paper mache fake book. That's what I used, at least. I got mine from Hobby Lobby and it cost $2.99. But I did use a 40% off coupon, I believe. And then I used my Silhouette machine to cut out a stencil. I literally just found the font of the Sleeping Beauty cover, like a DVD, and this is like the same font that's used on the book. And then I used my Silhouette machine to cut this out. You could also just print this and cut it out with an X-Acto knife. It just depends what resources you have available to you. And then I went in with a pencil and I traced these letters onto the book. You also could probably purchase a stencil with, you know, maybe like a fairy tale book looking kind of font. I know Storybook, that font is very close to this one. But anyway, when you are tracing, make sure that you also trace the inside of the letters. For example, like B, E, and A, they all have like a circle inside of them, and you don't want to forget to trace those, because I did forget to do this and I don't want you guys to forget. So this is what it looked like after I traced it. And now I'm going to go in with my hot glue gun, and I'm going to, this is how I'm going to make the letters appear 3D on the book, but still seem like they are a part of the book as opposed to like sitting on top of it. I started out with my big hot glue gun, and it was really hard to maneuver because it's kind of a tight space. So I did switch over to one of my really small hot glue guns, and that worked a lot better. This little purple hot glue gun, by the way, guys, is like $4 at Hobby Lobby. So if you're looking for one, it's actually pretty good. But yeah, I basically just went in and hot glued what I traced. This is the part that's a little bit tedious, but it's really not hard if you have just keep a steady hand and follow your lines. Also, the bigger you make the letters, the easier it is, obviously, to put the hot glue in. My letters were pretty small. You do want to make sure that you go back after the glue is dry and clean off all of the hot glue strings. It's easiest to do this in sections and not wait till the very end, because there's a lot to clean off. So this next part, I just did this by hand. The Sleeping Beauty book from the movie has these really beautiful swirls on the front of it. So I just kind of freehanded this and made it look how I liked it. The one thing I will tell you to be careful of is I ended up doing a bottom curl too close to the edge of the book, because I am going to glue jewels all along the rim of the book like the one in the movie. And because of that, you don't want your swirls to be too close to the edge, because then you won't have room for your jewels. So again, learn from my mistakes. Once you've completed that part, then you're going to go in again with your hot glue gun and just follow the swirls that you made on the book. I found this to be really effective. This turned out a lot better because I did think about maybe using my Silhouette machine to cut out vinyl or craft foam or something like that. But after you spray paint the book, this all looks like it's like a part of the book, which is what I was going for. So go ahead and just follow your lines and
once this is all dry, you will want to take off all hot glue strings. So I did not do the best job of this. I did end up with a couple that I just left on, and then when I spray painted the book, you could see them. But once you spray paint it on, they're pretty much there forever. So do make sure you clean up after all the hot glue before you spray paint. Alright, so that's it for the hot glue design on the front. So now I'm going to take my book and spray paint it with just a regular gold spray paint I got from Walmart. And now I'm starting on the jewels. So I just laid mine out on the book just to kind of get a gauge for what I wanted it to look like. I literally just dumped out all the jewels that I had next to it because I was looking for so many different shapes and colors. I would highly suggest getting a variety pack of jewels unless you want it all to be circles or something like that. The book in the movie is gorgeous. It has, I literally can't even explain to you. You guys absolutely need to use a reference photo when you're doing this if you want it to look like the one from the movie. Mine does not look identical, but it was very helpful to look at it just to pick out the jewels that I wanted and the ones that looked the best. So the part that I ended up doing on the book that you guys might want to copy is that on the edge of the swirls I did add a jewel to each one. So right now I only have like a hot pink one, and I'm just doing the edges of the book sections at a time. But now you'll see me, I'm adding on like a jewel to each swirl, and I did like a different color on a lot of them just to make it really like colorful. By the way, I am using a jewel pickup tool which came with my Silhouette machine. They do sell these at Hobby Lobby and Joann's and Michael's. I did find it very useful for the very, very tiny jewels. For the larger jewels, I found it easier just to use my hand, but obviously this is all personal preference and you could totally do this without it. And continuing on, I am going to kind of cut to clips for you guys because if I showed you me gluing on every single jewel, this video would be like 2 hours long. But this is what the perimeter started to look like. I did decide to do a little hidden Mickey on the bottom of mine with like a big pink jewel and a couple little tiny ones. And then this is the cork that I used to put inside the book. It was $9.99 and I did go on a separate trip to get it so I could use my 40% off coupon. But it's 4 mats of cork. So the good news is you actually have a lot left over if you want to make more than one. But just take your book and open it up, and then you're going to take a pencil and you're going to trace the book onto the cork. And you want to make sure you open up your book because the cover is larger than the inside. I started with an X-Acto knife, but I actually found scissors to be the best way to cut this cork. It was super easy to cut with scissors. The line is not perfect when I cut my cork, by the way, but you really couldn't tell once I put it in the book. So I cut out the first piece, and then using that first piece after I tested to make sure that it did fit inside, and it didn't because it was a little bit too big, I just trimmed off a sliver on the side of it, tested it out again, and realized it was a little bit too tall, and then I trimmed up just a little bit more. It's just kind of trial and error, but that's the good thing about this is like cork is really easy to cut, so you can just kind of trim it until it fits inside. And then once I got it to the perfect size, I took that piece and then I just traced it onto the leftover cork that I had because I did want to double layer mine. This was just because I knew I was going to put one pin inside of it. If you guys are putting more than one, I would absolutely suggest double layering because the cork is rather thin. So just go ahead and cut out the second piece, and then you are going to take your hot glue gun, apply a good amount of hot glue around the perimeter and the center, and then take your second piece of cork and firmly press it down onto the first. Once that's all dry, then you can place it inside your book. I did not hot glue down the cork into the book. It was very sturdy and secure, but if you would like to, you absolutely can. So now I'm just going back with my tweezers and cleaning up any hot glue strings. Again, I would highly suggest doing this before you spray paint and after you spray paint. Also, I am going to go ahead and Mod Podge over the top of the book. I probably would have done this before I put the jewels on if I had thought about it, but I did not. So I'm going ahead and using Mod Podge because, as you guys may know, spray paint can kind of leave like what feels like dust almost on your hands. So this is just going to seal it to where that's not really happening when you touch it. I did also want to mention you don't have to spray paint this book. You could absolutely use gold acrylic paint. I would suggest using Mod Podge no matter what type of paint you use, just because it's a nice extra level of security on your paint layer and it gives it a nice gloss when you're done. So this is the book all finished, and this is what the inside looks like with a photo of my daughter hugging Sleeping Beauty at Disney World and a really cute little Sleeping Beauty pin that I had. I hope you guys liked this tutorial. If you have any questions, leave them for me in the comments below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!